I love that
Okay.
down.
That was a good one, right?
Cool. I love it. I've never seen that one before.
We're live again, Yolanda. This is our second time going live. Hi.
I know. Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for having me over again.
It's my pleasure. We have Yolanda Adams with us. Adam Zimbrewski here. My brother Matt Zimbrewski is coming on very shortly. I try to have fun with the countdown, and that was the most recent one. I think I told you I've learned Canva as much as I can, and so
Canva is my passion. We
I
have
know.
mutual passion. Once you start, there's nonstop.
I agree, and it makes this non-digital type person that's always wanted to like create little visuals.
Mm-hmm.
It's made it a lot easier. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, you can get addicted to it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of also like my mental health component. I feel like so relaxed when I'm working with Canva. It doesn't seem like work.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
And even making that countdown in Canva, I didn't know that I could do things like that in Canva, and I just tried it, and then it's very mental health. It's very healthy mentally, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So, so Matt, we are here to we're live. We're talking about we're getting to catch up with Yolanda Adams from Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina, and Que Pasa, Appalachia. I just was talking with Yolanda, and I said, you have been my connecting of the Americas in all of our conversations for a few years now, because your community and the people that you serve, it's very inspiring to me, and what you do with with your community here in North Carolina, and how you are connected through Colombia, South America, which we can all talk about. So, my brother Matt's coming on, and so what sparked this conversation for me to reach out to you, Yolanda, and thanks for spending the time.
Thank you.
Matt is going. So Matt lives in the Boston area, and he's going down to South by Southwest in Austin this week and next week. And if millions of listeners out there are fans in the world, if you've not heard of South by Southwest, you might be under a rock somewhere. It's I've never been, but I'm very excited for my brother to go. And so when he called me about a week ago and said, "Hey, I'm going to South by Southwest, and here's why, and this is who Alberto is," and I was like an explosion of like excitement, because I do know a lot of like people and hoteliers and hospitality people there, and who have been there in the past. I've been to Austin, but never for South by Southwest. And there is my big bro.
Yolanda, how are you? Good to see you again.
Good. It's great to see you, Matt. Thank you for the invite again.
Oh yeah. It's great. It's great to bring you in. You know, I knew our worlds were going to collide again, so it's only a matter of time.
That's wonderful.
So, bro, just before we went live, and we're live, by the way, we're live.
Yes, we're live. Woo!
Just before we went live, I was catching up with Yolanda and showing her and telling her a little bit about Connecting the Americas and Alberto Silviera and our sponsors for today. I mean, this is happening, I think, very fast for them, but also very fast for us. And you know my attitude. If there's a way that I could kind of jump in and help out from afar with you and my brother, you're going down to South by Southwest. We had a conversation with Alberto, who we will talk about in just a moment. And I was totally jazzed up with, listening to him. I was feeling the energy, even though he's in Austin and I'm here in Charlotte and you're there in Boston, which is very exciting. And so to recap, Yolanda, you can appreciate this. Matt's going down there, and I'm going to bring up the website for Connecting the Americas and what it's all about. And it's a hospitality hub also, right? There's a lot of really cool, great cuisines and restaurateurs and entrepreneurs, absolutely beautiful hotels that have been redesigned and redeveloped from architectural distinctive buildings, and keeping the history of Texas and Austin. I've been there just twice, and I could just feel like I'm being pulled there again. And so when Matt said I'm going down there and this is why, I thought it was really cool. So I reached out to a bunch of hospitality friends, got some friends that live around there, and if they're not managing a hotel or owning a restaurant or anything like that, they're kind of avoiding Austin for the next week. It's
I
gonna
bet.
be so yeah, I just wanted to kind of connect and Alberto and Matt with some, really good event managers and hospitality people down there. So that's what the conversation was. And so, Matt, maybe do you want me to bring up the Connecting the Americas site here?
Yeah,
And
let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. We'll talk about it. So you and Yolanda haven't talked too much about that yet, right?
not too much. I brought up the site and I was telling Yolanda about it, but not only as much as I know and stuff. And so, let me first show Alberto. There's our man.
There he is.
Yeah. So Alberto Silviera. So Silviera is the co-creator of Connecting the Americas and the CTO at Lawn Starter. Look him up. Very exciting guy. A lot going on. And I always find hotel and hospitality people to be pretty good at event management. But man, I was like listening to him. I was feeling his excitement and everything that he's put together in like not very long part of time. I was like, it usually takes us hotel people like 6 months to put this kind of stuff together. So obviously he has a very deep list of people that he invited. And I've been telling friends, Matt, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I just said, Alberto and my brother are going to be down there and they're going to have like tech CEOs, VIPs, speaker events with Amazon and Infomock and Gradient Cyber and Ubi Minds and Square.
Yep.
I was almost ready to start walking from Charlotte down there. And so maybe tell us the 1, 2, 3, Matt, for regular people out there. Who's what's up with Connecting the Americas and what do you guys have going on down there?
Yeah, no. So yeah, if you so great speakers again. I'm glad you're mentioning Alberto's name a lot. This is his baby. He put it together. He's the one who had the brilliant idea to do this, and he's very. So I give all credit for the idea to him. He's very entrepreneurial, and what his idea was is like, you know what? And he's based in Austin, so he says, okay, Austin, all this stuff happens, South by Southwest, and his company and my company are not big mega companies that have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on big events and things like this. So he had to think from an entrepreneur's mind, which I really love and respect. And the three of us think that way too. And so he said, okay, well, and he's Brazilian. He grew up in Brazil, but he's lived in the United States for a good part of his adult life. So he said, wow, if I go to a Brazilian steakhouse and set up an event there for breakfast, because Brazilian steakhouses don't have breakfast. You go there for lunch and for dinner and so forth, and they're very popular for that. So he brokered a deal with a local, very popular, right in the center of the action, by the way. If you look on the map, it's right in the center of the action. I don't know how he did it.
Yolanda knows it, and I've there's one here in Charlotte too, Fogo de Chao.
Yeah, Fogo de Chao. So
if anyone's been to a Brazilian steakhouse, it's awesome.
So he said, okay, how can we create something of value for the folks that we want to talk to, these tech executives? His company and my company both serve from a recruiting and staffing perspective in different ways that audience, the technology executives, software companies, financial companies, a lot of different companies in the U.S., based in the U.S., or companies that are European that want to have more presence in the U.S., right? We help them get work done in the U.S. I help out with local people that are U.S. based, placing them and so forth. And Alberto, one of the companies that's sponsoring this event, it's called Ubi Minds. They bring talent in. I shouldn't say they bring it in. They have access to talent in Latin America, Spanish-speaking, Portuguese-speaking companies, a lot of tech talent countries, a lot of tech talent, and they set up all the infrastructure for these individuals to stay working remotely but for that technology talent to be used for and leveraged for American companies. So they could set up one or two people. They could have set up teams of people to work on cybersecurity, to work on digital stuff, AI things, all these different things, a lot of technology. So instead of some companies, outsourcing their work to Europe and India and Asia, etc., they can outsource it to Latin American countries in a very focused, disciplined way. So Alberto is a really smart technology CTO, a lot of great background, and he's brought Ubi Minds in as a partner from a staffing and recruiting perspective. So to get back to the Brazilian steakhouse, he said, okay, what can we do that would be a benefit to these CTOs, C-level executives? And he said, you know what? They want education about some really core topics. And if you scroll down a little bit there, you can see some of the topics that being picked. Mm-hmm. And again, he's partnered with Amazon and a number of other big companies to be there as speakers to talk about some of these topics here about AI for education, user experience for the world, basically billions of people across the world, experimenting with AI, brand reputation, how does cybersecurity come into the brand? Alberto has a lot of, through his companies and experiences, a lot of experience in the cybersecurity area, and so forth. So he created, to shorten the answer, an educational breakfast series that's going to be over the course of 4 separate days at a wonderful place to eat, socialize, network, as well as get education on a very leading edge topic for these executives. And he put it out there, and very quickly, a lot of people signed up for this. Wow. So now it's a matter.
He's got one starting tomorrow morning, it looks like, right?
And it's starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. So that's what's happening. I'm really excited. And so let me make the connection between me and Alberto. Alberto and I got connected, I think a few months ago. I had him as a guest on my podcast. I interview a lot of C-level executives, CEOs, et cetera, to talk about leadership and growth in technology in various industries, various parts around the globe. And Alberto is one of the amazing individuals who I got the chance to meet through my podcast. We had a good connection. We hit it off. And then we talked about, okay, you got some big things going on. And he invited me and my company, Agile Game Changers, to be a part of this event. So over the last several weeks, I've been assisting, and with your help as well, bro, behind the scenes to assist with the facilitation and work that's going on to get this event to happen. So Alberto has a lot of sponsored companies and other people on his team in his various companies to support this event. I'm really blessed and honored to be part of the action. I'm excited to be down there in person. I'll be down there on Friday late. And then I'll be there for the Saturday and the Monday breakfast educational events.
Bro, nice job. I mean, that gives a great overview. I think you're gonna be down there on Friday, and yeah, Fogo de Chao. I think it's really smart of them. I mean, that's brilliant. To be open to like opening up your restaurant, which normally doesn't open probably till like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Even to have the cooks start to come in. And what a great opportunity for them. What a great opportunity for the speakers.
Everybody.
And Alberto with his connections, he's looking to add value, it looks like. And so like this.
That's what it's all about, bro.
Yeah.
It's all about adding value, because South by Southwest it's a big production. I mean, it's like film, music, art, technology. Yep. There's a lot of stuff that happens down there, and everybody has different interests. If you go Google it, I haven't been there before in person, but if you go Google it, it's mostly a big art and film and music experience. Wow. And festival. I would say mostly, like most of the people come there to spectate and go see that. There's a lot of that social factor going in. There's also, you can buy a badge and go to the main South by Southwest at the Austin Convention Center and other related buildings there. And you can go see dozens and dozens of, like, again, leading edge technology people speak. And again, tens of thousands of people come to this. So with all that happening, the opportunity is the people are there for networking. They're there for education. they're there like, hey, I'm the C-level executives are leading their organizations, right? They want to grow. They want to be tapped into AI. They want to be tapped into the latest things that are happening out there in the marketplace. So Alberto's idea, I think, was genius because it was bringing a number of the people who are interested in these topics that his company and my company have experience with and subject matter expertise with. So we're able to say, hey, we're going to bring the right experts to the table to talk about some really important things and have our own sort of adjunct South by Southwest experience for the folks to give them a little downtime. So some of the executives can come out of the main hallways, come across the street, sort of across the street, get breakfast in the morning before they kick off their day, and get a jump start on things.
You know what? For the regular person, you know, the term AI, right? Just let's just say AI. You know, you know, let's call me a regular person that's not in tech, and so I only like when I think AI, I think about a year ago when you introduced me to Chat GPT. Right? It's helped me immensely. It's saved me a ton of time, and I've really gone all in. And so the fact that Alberto said, "Hey, global leaders in technology, what would you like to talk about? What's on the top of your mind?" And they said AI in education, user experience, cybersecurity. That means for the regular person, it's not going away anytime soon. These are major type things going on. So when you brought me into the conversation with Alberto, and thanks, by the way, that was just awesome. I immediately thought of Yolanda because I tell me if this shows if I change the page.
I don't see it yet. No.
Okay. Let me stop sharing. And Yolanda has talk about connecting the Americas and also education. I'm going to let you talk yourself up, Yolanda, but I'm going to first do it. I've been fascinated by you from the first time I met you. I met you at Appalachian State when I was doing a hotel project up in Boone, North Carolina. David Jackson, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, said, Adam, you're going to go to the same event that Yolanda is. You need to find her because you're going to love her and you're going to have lots to talk about. And we did. And that was several years ago. At that time, you were, I can't remember the title. Please tell me. You were with Watauga County Schools, which is the county that Boone and Appalachian State University is located in. You were on our, I think, third episode of our People Who Move.
Yes.
And we've now had 42, I think. So
wow. Love that.
That just when my brother and I started thinking about this, like People Who Move, like that's why you were like in the top of my mind, because I find you fascinating and you're a powerhouse of community leader and energy, and you've created things that actually take action and have grown it. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and this is, I think, this is just from last year. You're a great speaker. I've heard you speak many times. And I like how this mentions Kepasha, Appalachia. And I also have another article, but Governor Cooper, North Carolina, appointed you to a task force. To
the Drive Task Force, yes, that we just finished.
That's correct. That was the Drive, as in develop a representative and inclusion vision for education.
That is correct.
Wow. Yes. So what is that? You're now working at App State or Appalachian State University, right?
Right. So I am working for Gear Up at Appalachian State University. Yes. So Gear Up is actually in many parts in the United States. So what we do is like we empower and bring all the resources that are available for low income families and their students to be able to obtain higher education. So most of the counties that Gear Up serves are Title One, which are the ones that usually are like underserved in a way, because we want to make sure that every student has the opportunity to achieve their goals and their dreams.
Gear Up. So this is at multiple unit. This is a nationwide.
Yes, so you find it nationwide, and this one specifically covers 10 districts and is housed in Appalachian State University. That is correct.
I just brought up their page here. I'll share it again. I'm very curious. I mean, because I'm gonna be curious to know when we're talking about AI and like cyber technology and what the students are learning in college right now. I'm very curious about that. So this is Gear Up with App State. Shout out to everybody in Boone, by the way. James Milner and David Jackson were both on the show together. Had so much fun with them. That was an awesome show. And we talked about you, Yolanda, in the show too. And so there's a lot of really great things going on in Boone and App State, and it's a very inspiring place. So, look at that! Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, I had the opportunity to actually start kind of like helping and working alongside Gear Up when I was working for Watauga County Schools, and this amazing opportunity opened up. It's a brand new position. Is the assistant director for student leadership and family outreach, which is completely my passion. You know, a bridge builder. What a perfect way to go ahead and do it. And you know, working for Watauga was absolutely amazing. As you know, my journey with them, I will forever be embedded to them and how they help me to be successful. And that's what leadership is about, right? To help others to become leaders in their community. And Watauga County Schools was that big stepping stone for me to be able to achieve more than I even imagined. So I'm so thankful.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And also kudos and congratulations to Watauga County Schools for, you know, I know that you were there for over 10 years, I think. Yeah.
10 years.
And they supported the programs, you developed them. Seems like a very collaborative environment and giving and generous, and you affected, you probably more now. I think you had like 200 families that you were serving.
So when I was in Watauga, it was a total of over 200 families that I was serving in Watauga County Schools. But now I serve 10 districts in the same, kind of like in the same capacity, but 10 districts. So it's the more the merrier. You know, the more bridges that we can go ahead and build. You know what?
That's a good segue as far as bridges. So we are in a global economy, right? And so I was just at the local high school where my daughter's going to go next year, and they brought up 4 individuals that spoke Spanish, French, and German, and they were, you know, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and they were speaking in those languages to the crowd of, you know, future parents and students, and they were welcoming these families that have that language as a first language and English as a second language. And I thought it was beautiful, and I thought it was great. That's the first time that I saw that at like a parent orientation. I got chills. Again, I thought of you, and like you're a translator and can talk to you all day long. But as far as building bridges, I think it's a great word for you and what you do. And also it has to do with this connecting the Americas. I'm going to share the screen again, and I want to ask you, Yolanda, about maybe just AI in education. And when I say that I've been getting educated in AI, I really haven't. I've only been having conversations with ChatGPT. That's not education. What's going on maybe at App State? I mean, are there classes? I don't even know.
Well, I was doing some research because I actually started with app and Gear Up back in December the 4th. I had been there just 90 days. And in between, of course, it was the winter break. But I have been in about 2 or 3 meetings regarding AI. And what I realized, like you probably, Adam, I start hearing about it in ChatGPT like about a year ago, and I was like, what is this? Of course I have kids, so I heard it from them first, and I was like, wow, that's kind of scary. That was my first thought, right? That's kind of scary, and I don't know if I want to participate with that. But then I'm very curious, and I just want to know, okay, let's try it, right? So I have seen that it's also like a huge outlet. Like you said, it can save you so much time and effort. But then again, it's a great tool, right? So I started to see it with a different set of eyes. So regarding like app state, I have, like I said before, we have had meetings. So they are kind of like introduced into the faculty and staff, specifically for that, for the faculty of how they should handle AI with their students, right? Because it's like, oh my goodness,
right.
what are we going to be grading? Are we going to be grading AI, or are we going to be grading the student? So there's a very fine line that I guess any university, any high school, any middle school, to tell you the truth, kids are going to start using it. So how do we navigate that system of making sure that AI is used correctly and that actually the student is putting input into it, right? And I have used it multiple times when I get stuck, like if I'm working on a presentation and I want maybe some extra ideas, I go in there. But then again, I have to give my input of what I want, right? It's not like whatever. I have to give my input and specifically targeting a specific area that I want. And I have seen that is a great resource. Of course, there's always the talk about like how accurate it is. Like it can give you false information.
Right.
I think
it's like going into a dark forest almost. Like it's like this new thing, and like we're all still learning it. And that's probably why it's on top of mind for the CTO world, right? For to make sure that it's I don't know if the word is implemented, but if it's implemented somewhere, they want to make sure that it's implemented with the right processes and the absolutely the right understanding and communicating of it and what is produced.
Yeah, especially the sightings and quotations. Where is it coming from? The information. Some people is like, oh, I want to see this book where it came in. The book never exists. So you have to be careful on those because obviously it's not perfect.
Nope.
But I believe like if we're experts in the areas that we are targeting, like in my case is like, the student leadership programs, family outreach. I have a lot of knowledge already, so that can be definitely an outlet for me to help me to make a presentation even more appealing and everything. So
I'm going to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say, ask Matt, like when you're down there, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of material. I'm not going to ask you to take good notes for us, but whatever you are able to take away, I want to make sure that we connect Yolanda and share whatever you all learn, and through all these different conversations and people that you're meeting, it's going to be just an explosion of like the future down there.
I can share with you one thing for both of you. It's going to be private. It won't be public. These are private events, but we are going to record them with video and audio recording, and we're going to have them available for the people who were there, so they can get access to that, whether it's clips or the entire section. So for the two of you, I know that I can get access to that, so you can review it and see it.
Put this here too, and I also mentioned at the beginning, right before you grew, is that the Connecting the Americas, and Alberto is sponsoring this live event.
Yeah,
so
four live events. And if anybody is interested in watching this and they're interested, go to that website, sign your name up, and even if you can't physically get there, at least that way, Alberto and I and the other folks who are working with us can reach out to you and at least communicate about these topics and so forth. So
C-level executives in tech and founders connecting there at South by Southwest. I mean, that's just the knowledge that's going to be descending upon Austin, which is already a knowledge center. I mean, it's an unbelievable innovation center too.
I would say, even if you can't get there, get your name on the list so you can at least get plugged into the.
Yeah, right there. Just go to Connecting the Americas, get on the list.
Yep. Get on the list.
That's cool. Or let me pop your name on here, Matt, or contact Matt at agilegamechangers.com.
Yep. Perfect.
I love that. I'll be signing up for sure.
Yeah.
And Yolanda, I love what you shared about your perspective coming from a non-technical background and how you see it, because you're right. You represent a lot of what a lot of people think about when you first hear about AI. Oh, it's scary. What is it? Is it going to threaten my job, my livelihood? Is it going to change my life? Right? Because change can be scary, right? The unknown. But I think you also brought up one of the challenges out there as teachers, as educators, as professors and professional educators. It's challenging to know what's real, what's not real now, because it's hit high schools, it's hit all levels of schools, colleges, etc.
Bro, let me ask you.
You're a challenging aspect, right?
Bro, you're in. Maybe I know you're in a lot of fields, but right now, talent acquisition, right? Yeah. So you're talking to the right person, right? You're here with Yolanda, and but you don't speak Spanish, for example. But you're and these students that do speak Spanish are learning about AI and the future of technology and a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. If you're a talent acquisition and recruiting and staffing, if I'm empathizing for a minute, if I'm in that position and I'm looking to get connected to the future emerging workforce of talent and knowledge, but I don't speak Spanish, maybe Yolanda can give it. What do you do? I mean, do you only approach the people that only speak English, or how do you get connected to the people that speak Portuguese and German and Spanish and all these other languages? Yolanda, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's always, of course, that I started my career as a Spanish interpreter and translator, right? So basically that's how I realized, okay, it was a tool that I could use to build bridges because I learned that by utilizing a Spanish interpreter, the Spanish interpreter can actually, and it can be for any interpreter, we can actually pick up on gaps that exist when you're interpreting and translating. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started basically my journey. I basically started my journey attending and interpreting and translating documents. And then I realized when I was in those meetings, I started to recognize those gaps. And I was looking like, okay, like, how can I connect this family or this student to close that gap that exists? And maybe there was nothing there available. So I have two options. Say, well, I'm sorry, it's so sad, too bad. It's like there's nothing. Or be the person who was going to be able to close those gaps. That's a big responsibility to take, right? Because it's not just how can I close the gap, but bring the resource or the organization that needed to be part of closing that gap or, connecting them.
Yeah, and it's not like a short-term problem that you can fix. I mean, you got to be involved and engaged in that, bridging the gap. Yeah,
absolutely. So I think utilizing interpreters and translators is essential for any big business or organization, or even university environment. I feel like it is essential, and it immediately helps you to connect. Just by your comment, Adam, that you said when you went to the high school, right? I mean, you speak full English. You were with your English speaker student, you didn't need to hear any other language, right? But another languages came along and you immediately felt a connection to that. And you felt good for the others who speak those languages, because immediately I'm sure those parents and those students feel welcome in a place of belonging. And that's exactly what happens. I went to, I'm part of the Elevate and See Fellowship with the Hunt Institute. And we were at this university, and I went in there, and I had never been there before. And we were sitting down, and there was at this college, and it said that the message was like in Spanish as well. And I immediately felt like a sense of belonging and welcoming. I wanted to learn more about that college. So it is simple things like that we can do to make somebody feel completely welcome into that
Sense of
environment.
belonging. I mean, if there's any,
For you to thrive.
It's absolutely essential, and you can't do that without a bridge. You can't do that with somebody like noticing that there's not a bridge or a gap needed. Bro, you got your work cut out for you, because you have to you don't live in Austin, but you're going to be part of a team that's creating a sense of belonging for many people, and they speak different languages. I mean, Alberto said at least Spanish and Brazilian. I'm not, or Portuguese.
Yep.
Not sure if there's others too, but he was talking about global people that he knows around the world, and that's going to be fascinating. And great idea for you and Alberto to be recording this.
Yeah.
Do you have someone there following you guys around, or is this just you guys with your phone?
No, we have we have a professional videographer who's going to come in with multiple cameras. We'll do it right, and there'll be a lot of good content that comes out of this, and we'll figure out the best way to get it out to the audience. That's why I'm excited about it. What you're talking about, language, is so important. A 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to say, oh, we're in the US, we just talk English, right, for business stuff. But one of my other good friends is a professional translator as well, Yolanda, where you came from, and she does Portuguese and Spanish, and her team does all that. And they do it for businesses, they do it for all over the place, voiceovers for movies and different things, a lot of things like that. But now in today's age, like a number of the people who I interview on my podcast are not from the US, or their English is not their first language. So it's really exciting for me to have those conversations, and some are European, some are South American, Latin American, all different parts of the world. And what I've learned from that is a lot of these people are leading international global companies that require their people to be speaking multiple languages, or at least they employ people who speak different languages in different parts of the world. Therefore, if we're going to work with them, we need people like you, Yolanda, on our team and our network, so we can appropriately connect with the talent, right? Like if you're talking with someone who's more comfortable in Spanish than they are in English, and they're a technology professional, ideally, I want a Spanish-speaking person on my team who can understand how to interview that person in their native language, so we can really get to the person and the connection. Because like you said, there's a culture, sense of belonging, all that stuff that's not on the resume is really, really important to represent, so you can match the culture of the company to the culture of the person, and you can get them to work together so they can be in harmony together over time. That's what we're really passionate about. So the language is an absolutely important piece.
I wish every talent acquisition specialist was like you, bro, with Agile Game Changers, because that attitude that you just expressed, the empathy, the creating the sense of belonging. I'll give a shout out to a friend of mine, Tucker Bascom. He's all over LinkedIn. Look him up. We've connected recently. He's in recruiting also in food and beverage. Used to be a restaurant owner and everything. And we've talked about that. Like, he's got the same attitude. And we've talked about the fact that recruiters or hiring managers sometimes are the person that the person interviewing connects with. They feel a sense of belonging with the person that they're interviewing with, and then they move on to the third interview or the final interview, and then they get the job. Hooray! But what happened to the person that I really connected with?
Yeah,
they're out recruiting the next person, which is fine. That's their job. But he's created a system and a process to kind of keep to stay involved in the implementation. I should say the onboarding. It's there's nothing AI about that. I'm sure AI is going to help that, and I think it is already. But that's the human, as they say here at Connecting Americas, the UX for billions, the human experience design at a scale, critical thinking, connecting humans, connecting the Americas. I think you have to go, bro. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about Alberto and connecting the Americas?
Yeah, I'll just add one more point. In addition to language, something else that differentiates what Agile Game Changers brings to the table, as well as one of Alberto's other sponsors there, UbiMinds. Same thing I mentioned. They bring a lot of remote tech talent from Latin America to serve U.S. companies. One thing that's in common between Agile Game Changers and UbiMinds is we both invest in the people who are doing the work for the long term. We're not just helping somebody get a job and then the recruiter's like, okay, I'm done. I got paid. I'm out. We stay with the person for the long term because we put people first. So we're all about the relationships. And we want to know, okay, we did our best to match this company and this person. Okay, great. People are happy now. That's good. That's day one. We got a lot more to go. Now, how about week 1, week 10, week 50? As we're going through, is the company still happy with that match? Is the person still happy with that match? Are they growing? So the communication, support, guidance, and upskilling, bringing out the best in these individuals, because we're all on it. We're all on a trajectory. We're not just one person with a resume. We get a job and we're done. It's not black and white like that. It's a long-term game. So if we're in it for the long term, so I just wanted to stress that that's something else that we're very different. And that's why the language with talking with Yolanda and professionals like yourself, Yolanda, are so important, because it's an ongoing communication.
Right.
Like we want to know more about the culture of the people, the culture of the company. And this is an ongoing thing that takes a while. So why do we do that? I do it because that's where my heart is. And I know that's the right thing to do. But how do the companies benefit? The companies benefit by reducing their largest hidden expense, which is attrition. Attrition right now is over $2 trillion just in the US alone. You can run the numbers. It's very, very big. And companies don't really put that on their books because it's so spread out across a number of different factors. And it's easy to sort of get lost in the shuffle. But if you talk to senior leaders at companies, they know that people leaving their company, talent leaving their company, costs them many, many millions of dollars, no matter how big your company is. So if you can get the good talent there, the right people in the right place, and the magic is happening, things are working and flowing, and then you can continue to communicate and nurture that talent over time, that talent, the people, are going to want to stay together. It's like any good marriage, good relationship. You're going to want to stay together because you've been working together, communicating together, and growing together. And that is the real win long-term for the company. Because then the people, the good talent stays. They're not looking. And I know this is a topic, bro, you and I talked about before. The engagement level of the leadership and the senior contributing people to the company is so important in any company. And if that engagement level is too low and they jump ship too fast, now you got to go find someone else to backfill. You're wasting time, opportunity costs, money, effort. It's very, very expensive. So you want to do it right and you want to nurture it and grow it over time. I just wanted to stress that. It's a big point of what we do that's different, and it makes a difference in the world.
I'll tell you the difference, and I'll throw a word that Yolanda brought up, which is good. It's a bridge. It's not a parachute. Okay, because in my career, and since I've been an independent, consultant in hotels, and I was getting paid a whole bunch of money to come parachute in, right, and then parachute out. And they lose the connection, they lose the value, and sometimes the things that I help them implement and being paid to implement. Can I follow up? Do you need any more help? And some things just fall behind, and that's what attrition is. And so, the hotel industry has a lot of attrition, and we have we're known for being high turnover. Doesn't need to be like that. Some companies, you got to think. Why do some companies have like 0 to no attrition?
Yeah.
Why do some, right? And why do some companies don't, right? Well, why do that?
Look at Yolanda, the other guests we've had on this podcast, bro. They build and nurture communities that stay together for the long term. That's the opposite of attrition. That's how things happen. That's how good things happen over the long term. If you're constantly moving people in and out of your organization, it's just expensive. Then you got to retrain and do this, and everybody's different. But when you get the good vibe going and you're nurturing and growing a community together, and a community, a really good, healthy family, really good, healthy organization is like a family, right? You got to nurture it, grow it, put your time and effort in, and then everybody wins. Everybody's happy.
Everyone wins.
Yeah. If you don't have time to build those connections, then then nothing sticks together. You know what I mean? Once you build those connections and you start caring, and you have to do it like from your heart and give all the information that is needed, not because you have an agenda, but because you want to benefit those who you are serving.
Yes.
And that's the mentality that we need to change. We basically have to serve with a serving heart because we want to improve those who we are serving. Not
You said
us.
time. It takes time.
Yeah.
Time.
It takes time, and that needs an investment in that time to support it from the very top and bottom for whatever the organization. And I often, give a shout out to the hotel management community, the hospitality management community that is based in one area, like maybe Atlanta, and then you've got properties that are around 8, 9 different states. It's extremely difficult to connect your culture. It's very possible. Some companies do a great job. It's not a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of heart. These are honorable, trustworthy, amazing human beings that are serving others. It takes time and patience and yes, putting the right people during the right time in their life and career and listening to them and supporting them. Then it's ironic because if you take time to do that, you have less fires to put out. And your people, if there are not literal fires, but there are small ones, everything's just kind of small. They're like, yeah, I'll take care of that. Because you've been together, you know what a wink means. It's like, I got that. I know what you mean. I get that. And I've been inspired and encouraged the last couple of years by doing a bunch of research, and there's a lot of great companies doing that. And I will tell you, a lot of it does have to do with the recruiting. A lot of it has to do with the education, the high school and the university system, and connecting those worlds with my new favorite term, the democratization of knowledge. I absolutely love that term. When somebody told that to me, I'd never heard of it until about 2 months ago. And just think about what that means. I'm not going to tell you, but I think that's really cool. And it goes beyond one industry or one talent profile. It goes into the heart of who we are and why we're doing it. So we can end up here. Okay. Let me give a shout out to Alberto again. I'll just say that an hour-long conversation with him has lasted about a week for me. So Alberto, good luck, brother. You've been working really hard at this, man. I think that's awesome what you're doing. Matt, have fun. I think this is going to be awesome.
Be great.
I can't wait.
I'm going to give you a list of really cool buildings and restaurants and food establishments to go to that I've been reading about. But mostly shout out to if I say this right, Fogo de Chao.
Oh,
yeah?
So good.
I'll give them a shout out. They're not the sponsors here. It's Connecting the Americas is, but I just think that's the coolest thing. That's the hospitality mindset right there. That's someone saying somebody could have very easily said, I'm sorry, Alberto, I know that you really want some space for your breakfast thing, but we don't open up until 10:30. That's when our cooks come in, and you want to do this, at 8 o'clock? Sorry. Easy. It's so easy to say no, but they didn't. So shout out to them for having, and you're going to, I think they're going to benefit in great ways. But even if there's no promise to that, I just think it's a beautiful thing of collaboration, and that's a bridge right there, right, Yolanda?
Oops. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I'm all about like a bridge builder. So definitely that's going to be amazing. I just cannot wait to hear from Matt how it went and log into their website to follow them for sure.
Yeah, please do. If you're watching here, our millions of fans, jump on to get on the list. Click away. It's very simple. And if I was going down there, Yolanda, I would go up to Boone first and put you in my suitcase and be like, hey, I need you.
Let's go. I'll be your interpreter.
That's great. All right. Well, we can end up here. Visit connectingtheamericas.com. Get on the list. Contact Matt at agilegamechangers.com for more info. I'm Adam with Hospiamo. Yolanda Adams with Appalachian State University and the Gear Up program.
That's right.
We could stay on for another 2 hours, but we're going to stay on for another 2 seconds. All right. So love you all. Thank you very much. And we'll see you again soon.
Adam and Matt. It's great to see you.
Great to see you, Yolanda. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for being here.
Say hi to everybody in Boone.
Absolutely. Thank you. I will.
Bye, bro.
Bye. Thank you.